All right, Marco Palmera, founder of Ulysses in Dubai. In this video, we're going to discuss a very interesting topic, which is a little bit different to the other videos I record generally. And it is a question I get asked many times by people who don't live in Dubai or people who just come to Dubai for business trips. And the question is Dubai overrated? Now, it is a very interesting question, and I'm going to be sharing my personal thoughts on that after living in Dubai for more than 3 years. Now, to start the conversation, I believe that the question in itself is totally wrong. And the reason for that is simple. If we're talking about whether or not Dubai is overrated, it means that we already created an expectation for the city, right? And in some way, we're discussing whether or not that kind of expectation was fulfilled or not. Now, where is this expectation coming from, right? Now, in most cases, it's coming from reviews online, pictures, influencers showing their experience in Dubai, other people posting pictures on social media. And the problem I have with that is that we rely too much on these types of feedbacks. And sometimes we don't fully get that these people are going to share their personal experience and they're going to look at Dubai through their eyes. So that's not going to be an objective review of the city. It's just going to be their thoughts manifested on social media. And I think this is one of the problems of social media, that substantially everybody can share anything like I'm doing with this video. Now that creates initial expectation that is built up about the city of Dubai. And sometimes people end up being disappointed when they come here, probably because they had too high of an expectation for the city. Now, the reason for that, from my personal view, is that everybody tries to portray Dubai as the perfect place, right? On social media, you only see beautiful pictures, beautiful landscapes, terrific experiences, terrific restaurants, and so on and so forth. And it is never showed as a city that has pros and cons like any other place. And that creates a huge issue from my perspective, which is, again, people believe this place is perfect, it's sort of magical. Now, there are, of course, a lot of pros of Dubai, but the place is by no means perfect, right? And for people relying on these types of opinions online, it is very dangerous to then come to the city, because 100% of the times they're going to be disappointed by it, and they're going to think the city is overrated simply because they were expecting perfection. Well, perfection cannot be found in any city. And I can say that with confidence because I lived in 8 different countries in, fantastic cities like Dubai, Miami, Madrid, Budapest. You name it, many others. The point is, every single time you go to a new place, you got to accept that there are going to be a lot of things that are offered to you and some challenges that you're going to have to face in order to cope with the environment. That's just part of life, at least from my perspective. Now, the trade-off and kind of like the balance between the two is going to make one place better for you and for your own taste compared to another, right? But that is entirely, subjective. It's not objective thinking. It's something that it's a conclusion that you come up with based on what you like and what you believe to be aligned with your values and your beliefs. Now, many times people don't do that with Dubai, and they're very judgmental about the city. And I think that's just wrong, because they don't look at the city as a place like any other place that has tremendous potential, tremendous opportunity, but also some downsides. And so I think we need to reframe the way we look at Dubai. And I always advise people to do that. When I get asked the question, is Dubai overrated? I think the first question I ask is, where this question coming from? And the follow-up question is if you really wish to come here and you haven't looked a lot of stuff online, stop looking at stuff online and come here with a very open mindset and see what it comes out of it, and your own perception of the city. Because it is funny, people might be living in terrible places that have no service, no accessibility to any kind of activity whatsoever. They're kind of dangerous. They're not, fancy in any way, shape, manner, or form, and they don't provide a good lifestyle. But still, they're going to be very judgmental when they come to Dubai. Why is that? Well, of course, it's because of perception, because people build up the perception of Dubai to be so high that then people come here and they don't look at all the beauty they find. They look at all the things that go wrong because they want to kind of like mess up this perfect picture that has been created about Dubai on social media and online. And I think this is just wrong, because Dubai is a beautiful place. It has tons of things to offer, but of course it has some downsides. Now, I can talk, for hours about the pros of the city. It's incredible lifestyle, incredible opportunity, great place to do business, very friendly from a logistics standpoint, because you can access Asia, you can access Europe, you can access Africa, and everything is just 4-5 hours flight away. Beautiful from a tax perspective. It's a great environment. It's very safe. Education is good. You have international education here. It's very open-minded. There are tons of cultures here, more than 200 nationalities, and the environment in itself is, full of expatriates. So there are many other things I can add to the list of why Dubai is such a great place. The problem is that I see most people overlook these things and they take them for granted, so to speak. And then they just start to look at the bad stuff, like, oh yeah, Dubai is terribly hot in the summer. I mean, there's 2 months where you can just not survive. And I mean, okay, fine, but you got 10 months of the year where you can basically wear everything you like. You don't need to worry about rains. You can go out and be comfortable, and you can have incredible walks every single evening because it's not going to be too cold. So is that a good trade-off? I think it is, right? You get 10 good months in exchange for 2 months that are a little bit hot. I think, to me personally, it's an incredible thing. Now, they will start to look at other things like, I don't know, they didn't treat me right in a certain situation. Well, would you really accept that type of treatment back home? Probably you would, simply because people act normally in your home country and you're used to, some type of interaction. Instead, in Dubai, you're used to such a high level of service and a high level of, friendliness, that the moment something steps it down a little bit, you're immediately pissed off. And I think that's just wrong. People are too sensitive about it. And honestly speaking, they aren't looking at the city the right way. Of course, there's some downsides. Of course, there's some things that don't work perfectly. I mean, traffic at sometimes is terrible. Okay, fine. It's just part of the deal. A lot of cities have a lot of traffic. It's just something that you need to cope with. My idea is always that I don't consider any place as overrated. I go there with a very open mindset and I take the good that can come out of it. If the bad things are overweighting the good things, then I will probably consider another place. But if I have so many good things and just a few bad things, then this place is going to be incredible for me. And that's what Dubai is all about. That's what I really believe. And of course, this is my opinion. I'm not saying this is going to be the case for all people, but I think it's wrong to consider Dubai as overrated, period, because this is objective thinking. That's not right. You might be saying Dubai is not for me for X, Y, and Z, but you can never say Dubai is overrated. It's just a stupid statement. It's like, where's your perception coming from? I mean, it's just because a lot of influencers showed you, you know, fancy restaurants, then you think that every single time you enter into a restaurant is going to be fancy and you're going to be having a 5-star experience. Well, that's kind of stupid, right? Of course, there are going to be different types of offerings, and the city is going to adapt to serve different clientele. But, you know, sometimes people don't reason that way when it comes to Dubai, and they expect perfection in any place, in any, you know, life situation. And I just think this is not realistic. Another thing I believe is that Dubai is doing a tremendous job at being an exceptional place where people can live, do business, and grow as individuals. And we should really treasure all the work that they're doing and the opportunity they're giving people like myself as an expatriate to come here and call this place home. Sometimes people overlook this element also, and they only think about themselves and about the good, I mean, the bad things that this place is doing to them. You know, the things that they're not offered, the disadvantages they have, and all that sort of stuff. Well, are you really thinking about all the good things that you can have in this city that you wouldn't have in your home country? Because I thought about that a lot. I mean, originally I'm from Italy, and I always did that analysis in every country I lived in. Okay, as I mentioned, I lived in 8 countries now. So every single time I was going there, I was balancing things out based on my experience in my home country. And then I was coming up with my conclusions that, of course, were subjective thinking. But what I realized over time is that there are some places that I would like the most in terms of living and doing business, others that I would like less. But I'm never going to say something is overrated or something is underrated, because this is just a problem of perceptions. I always come to a new place with a very open mindset. It's like a clean slate. And then I build my perception based on that. And it did exactly the same with Dubai. I didn't came here expecting the moon or expecting nothing. I expected to find a city with pros and cons, and it was my responsibility to come up with a final conclusion. Ultimately, for me, it worked out very, very well because I had found so many pros and just a few cons. And yeah, that's the reason why I decided to stay. I think, again, getting back to my first point, the question, is Dubai overrated? No, it's not. It's a problem of perception. I think in this digital era where social media plays a huge role in our lives, we should really stop using social media to judge places, people, and situations, and just start thinking with our own heads. That will do us a lot of good, and not only for Dubai, but for life in general. And so Dubai is not overrated. It's just a matter of experiencing the city to the fullest and then come up with your own evaluation of the city. Let me know what you think about it. If you've been to Dubai, if you live in Dubai, what you think of that. Strangely enough, you know, I never heard of somebody who lives in Dubai who's disappointed. That's a funny thing, right? All people talking about Dubai being overrated either don't live in Dubai or left Dubai a long time ago. That's kind of funny. That's a kind of funny statement and a good way to wrap it up. But again,